listening to the Ecosystem Approach show. I'm Jason.
And I'm Patricia. Tune in every Monday at 1 p.m. Pacific Time and 4 p.m. Eastern Time on Transformation Talk Radio.
We discovered that human potential is severely limited when you program humans like a machine, which is standard practice today for self-improvement.
The Ecosystem Approach teaches you how to uncover your infinite potential by using natural methods that are truly revolutionary. Join us now for the Ecosystem Approach show. It's a popular belief, quote, fake it till you make it. It's been normalized to the point where some people lose a sense of self and their own authenticity. Today, we're proposing a new approach to psychology, self-help, and human development.
You know, if I could jump up and down right now, I would.
Okay.
That's a big idea.
It really is. Well, it's based on being in alignment with the way humans are naturally designed. We're going to talk about the toxic consequences of the current processes of education. Wow, that's a big one. Development and growth that are taught today. We have a needed perspective that will explain self-help program failures and the mass depression in our world today and the barriers to true well-being. Jason, let's talk about act as if, yes or no.
You know, I see, in fact, just recently I saw a title of another self-help guru, and I say that in quotes, that was saying, act as if.
Yeah.
This is the key, act as if.
Yeah.
And it's a popular expression for YouTubers, and I've heard this expression for years, frankly.
Yes.
If you want to be some way, act as if, and eventually it'll work.
Yes.
And there's actually data, there's scientific data that says it'll work. And it will in the short term. But it's not natural, and it can have negative consequences, and those consequences are completely invisible to most people for the reasons that we're going to talk about today. Okay. With the ecosystem approach, we suggest you remove the negative energy attached to you, so you become who you are, which is your path to your greatest potential.
By the way, I want you to know, I happen to know that works, and it makes me very happy that we're putting this out there in this way today, because this is something we have been meaning and wanting and trying to say for a really long time. So listen up, everyone. Tell me, Jason, there's a new approach to psychology, self-help, and human development that we have. Let's talk about it.
We're creating it. We're putting it out there. We're gonna throw down now.
Well, you're being as radical as I've ever seen you be.
Instead of acting like what your ego wants you to be, act as if, all those things, fake it till you make it.
Yeah.
How about removing the negative energy and covering who you are authentically?
Okay.
That's where the potential is.
Yeah.
That's what feels the best, and the chances of you succeeding are the greatest when you are authentic.
Yes.
We see that as intuitives, but you don't have to be an intuitive. It just makes sense that if you act like a machine, you're not going to be the best part of yourself. You're going to be a robot. You
lose the best part of yourself.
Yes.
Who you are.
Yes.
And it's sad. Go ahead.
Well, and this is what we see as intuitive. So this is how we confirm it. Okay.
All right.
Psychology, talk therapy, self-help formulas and strategies do not change your energy.
Right.
We've had therapy. We both had a lot of therapy.
A lot of it, yes.
And we've had people that come to us who have had therapy. It doesn't change the energy.
Yeah.
So when we jump in there and start doing our way of changing the energy,
correct,
things happen.
Yeah.
In fact, they can cover and block your natural resources and your path to unlimited potential. Correct. We've heard this for years and years and years, that human beings only
use a very small portion
of their potential, or their brain, their ability, but no one says why.
Yeah.
This is why.
Or how not to do that.
Exactly.
As opposed to
just have it. And the truth is that as you remove this negative energy, You don't have to figure out the why or the how. The
Right.
how, you know how to do it.
Yes.
It's innate to you.
Yes.
It's natural to you. It's like telling a plant to grow or not to grow. It just can't help it. It's going to do what it was what it's natural for it to do.
Well, I'm going to jump in there and say we had some new neighbors move in next door. Really, they're great people. And one of the things that they said to me, who did that garden when we moved in? We saw this garden and we were like, "Oh my gosh, what is the secret to this garden?" And I know we're going to talk about the secret in a minute, but the point that I'm getting at is because I've removed negative energy, my potential, my who I truly authentically am, when I first off, when I put things in the ground, be them seeds, be them plants that are already started, one of the very first and last things that I do when I'm first working with this stuff, I automatically activate creator energy. And then that last thing that I do is I activate that same energy because it's life force.
Yes.
And that life force, this is what this planet is all about.
So you've probably heard, and this is the garden, and the gardening metaphor really works for the ecosystem approach.
It really does.
But people who play music in their garden, that helps the plant grow better.
It's true. Oftentimes I'll sing to them.
Well, it's funny. I mean, I go out there and I hear Patricia out in the background talking, and I thought, who are you talking to? Well, the tomato plants.
Yeah, I'm talking to them. I'm singing to them. I'm telling them they're beautiful.
The cucumbers.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. So, anyways, but she has this lush garden, and where we live, in the summertime, it's basically a desert. Arid area.
A high desert.
Yeah, high desert.
Yeah.
And so it's brown all around.
Yes.
And then her garden is just
lush green with color.
Green, and you can see it. And oh my gosh.
Yes.
And obviously, there's some things we have to do to compensate for the heat and things like that.
Correct. Sun cloth and that sort of thing.
But it's the energy.
Yes,
if I was going to write a book, it would be the energy, stupid. It's the energy. We've been trying to manage how you think and feel, which isn't natural. But let's talk about that.
Okay, Jason. Well, let's talk about the law of attraction, the misconception of it.
Now, just a teaser. We're going to start doing our show every 2 weeks. So there'll be a rerun next Monday, and 2 weeks from now, this will be on March 10th. But we're going to do a show about Bashar, Seth, and Abraham. And if you know anything about these guys, these people are ETs that have been channeled by people, and they tell their wisdom for people here on Earth.
Yes.
And we're gonna
talk about that.
We're going to talk about that in ways that will blow your mind. If you'll never have heard this before,
guaranteed.
And as other intuitives, we're gonna challenge some of those preconceived notions a little bit. But here's the thing.
By the way, I think they're all brilliant.
Yeah, it's not that's bad information, but it's time for the next level. If you're ready for the next level of it, here we go. Yeah. So the idea that if you act as this was created for generations of people who have no idea how they actually feel. Yeah. We've had so many people come to us and say, we say, how do you feel today? And they say, I don't know, you tell me.
Yes, that's a big thing. They want us to tell them.
They want us to tell them.
Yes.
The law of attraction says that what you think about is what you attract. What you feel and think about is what you attract. But the misconception is that you can choose what you think and feel. No, absolutely not. How you feel is a natural expression of all the energy attached to you.
Say that again. It's really important.
How you feel is a natural expression of the energy attached to you. So if you feel angry today, bitter, shameful,
fearful,
whatever negative is, that's energy that's attached to you that you can get rid of
Yes.
using the ecosystem approach.
Yes.
And if you clear those feelings or energies, they're both feelings or energies.
Yes.
Then what you feel is what you feel.
And in other words, when you clear all these things, then ask yourself again,
How do I feel?
How do I feel?
Because it's a gauge about what the energies are that's attached to you.
Yes.
And then you just keep clearing.
Well,
and you have to work with the energy directly.
Yes.
You can't make yourself feel a certain way or another way, because you're designed, the human body is designed to have your feelings be your gauge for the energies that are attached to you.
Exactly. And for who you are.
Yes.
But when you have negative energies on top of who you are, then you're not getting the truth.
You don't know who you are.
That is correct. Jason, what is the summary of this segment?
The key to unlocking potential and success is by uncovering the negative energies that block you, not acting like someone you're not. Traditional psychology and self-help methods use methods that do not change a person's energy. They are superficial and do not make authentic change, which only happens when the energy changes. Yes. Knowing who you are authentically is not an intellectual process. It's an energy process.
Yes.
And that requires an energy approach like the ecosystem approach. Your authentic feelings are an objective reflection of the energy attached to you that you can use as a guide to determine what to clear and remove. This turns traditional psychology, self-help, and all types of human development upside down. We're saying that it's time to focus on the energy of a person, not acting or programming yourself to think or feel in a certain way like a robot or machine. Right. The ecosystem approach was created to show people a new way to live. This is your time.
It is. In the next segment, we're going to talk about how common methods and approaches have some scientific proof, but we're going to explain why that evidence is incomplete and may not be working for you. This is the Ecosystem Approach Show with Jason and Patricia, and you're listening to Transformation Talk Radio. This is the Ecosystem Approach Show with Jason, and I'm Patricia. And in this segment, we're going to talk about how common methods and approaches have some scientific proof, but we're going to explain why that evidence is incomplete and may not work for you. Jason, let's talk about fake it till you make it.
There is science to prove that it works.
Yes.
In other words, they've done studies where they say, okay, if you act as if you faken it, if you try to act a certain way, that it makes it easier and easier over time to act that way. Okay, but what they don't study is the long-term effects.
That's what I was going to say.
And if that's really good for you.
Right.
We see, okay, so I found an article in Psychology Today that says if you force a smile,
right,
literally if you put something in between your teeth so you have to smile because something's there,
okay,
it will affect your mood and you'll feel better. Well,
it's either that or maybe you should brush your teeth. Yeah. I'm not sure.
That's different.
Oh.
But does that mean that if your mood changes just for a second, do you change the energy? Does it really change what's going on in your life at the moment? If you feel better for 5 minutes, will you feel worse afterwards? Yeah. As intuitives, we see that since it doesn't change the energy, that energy is going to find a way to come back. So if you have anger or guilt or shame or fear that's attached to you, it comes back. And you can drink caffeine and get rid of it, or take a drug and get rid of it.
Okay.
Or even pharmaceuticals try to manage your feelings.
That's correct.
By suppressing certain things, but they find a way to come back.
Yes.
And that's why, for example, antidepressants can create suicidal thoughts, because the energy is still there.
In other words,
that's so clear to us.
When you first start taking those like the antidepressants, what it does is it pushes that energy away.
Yes.
And then after time, it starts easing forward again.
It eases forward, and it will come back maybe as suicidal thoughts, or it could come back in another part of your life that may not seem like it's related at all, like a cancer diagnosis or other physical problem or even relationship problems.
Right.
So what happens is if you start acting as if on a regular basis, you become a really good actor. And you continue to become a good actor for all types of things.
Yes.
But you lose yourself, and you could lead to physical problems and relationship problems.
Yes.
So many people have come to us over the years with those things because, and they've been acting a role for so long, they don't even know who they are.
Yeah. Oh.
And by the way, we see that it has a direct relationship to memory problems, dementia, Alzheimer.
Absolutely, because people just want to check out.
Yes.
Yes. So,
and if you act confident, for example, people who are close to you may challenge you, and you may not be able to sustain it.
That is correct.
If it's just the veneer, you may not be able to sustain it at all.
Because it doesn't change the energy.
Exactly.
So let's talk about energy change is essential. Jason, explain, please.
We see this as intuitives. When energy doesn't change, when energy is not authentic to who you are, you react in a negative way. Lie detection technology measures physiological responses when a person lies.
Yes.
So when you lie, your body has a reaction. It says, oh, something's wrong here.
Well, your blood pressure goes up or your heart rate goes up, things like that.
Exactly. And it's tracked. And it's not 100%. We understand lie detection can be faked and that sort of thing, but that's not the point here.
Right.
The point is the body knows when you're not being truthful.
That is correct.
So when you're acting as if, and then you get cancer, then you get heart disease, all of a sudden you get Alzheimer's or some other problem, you don't necessarily relating to acting as if, but as intuitives, we see the energy, and the energy connects the dots for all those things. And it's easy to perceive.
Yes.
And frankly, everybody should be able to see energy the way we do. The problem is that because we're programmed, that ability to see and have intuition is suppressed.
Yes.
Our dogs are more intuitive than most people that we meet. And, the best example is, one of our dogs likes to go out all the time. Every 5 minutes, he wants to go out, but he goes up to the door and he stares at it. And he's using his intuition
to make that door open.
And somehow it always does. And then he comes back and he'll bark. He'll go, ruff. And then invariably someone comes to the door and opens it up for him.
Exactly. He's got it down.
He's got it down.
That's true. That's true.
So we see as intuitives that a truly confident person is acting from a connection to their authentic self.
Yeah.
A person who is in alignment with who they are authentically is naturally confident, and the energy reflects that. It can't be faked. When you truly are authentic, and most people who are authentic have a sort of type of confidence. There are different types of confidence, but when it's authentic to who you are, it's authentic to you, and it's easy to sustain. It's not phony, and you still may be challenged by other people, but you'll be able to stand up to it. And we see the direct relationship between faking it to cancer, heart disease, dementia, relationship issues from so many people who are acting and playing a role in their life.
That is correct. Well, Jason, science does not perceive energy.
No.
Why is that?
Well, it's because the way you perceive energy is through intuition. Science tries to rule out like the placebo effect, which is an energy effect. Okay. If you believe that you're going to get better, then you often get better. Instead of taking the placebo effect and making it useful, so that doctors
discount it.
They discount it and they try and rule it out.
That is correct.
It's a really powerful way to heal.
Yes,
it would be so much better than drugs and surgery and cutting on people. So
yes.
But studies and experiments do not perceive subtle energies. So even science has proven that subtle energies exist. Science has proven that there's an energy field around the human body, but they don't know what to do with
And
it.
by the way, that's actually just recently in the last year or so, right?
Yes.
That they started to see that.
Now,
after all this time, everyone,
that's the basis for acupuncture.
Yeah.
And which has been around for thousands of years, but that's been discredited by science. And if you start to see these things, and all of a sudden now they see it, but they don't know what to do with it. It shows that science can have a personality that's kind of narrow-minded and closed-minded. So
yes, just facts, ma'am.
We know because we're older, science has been searching for a cure for cancer for years and years. They keep looking for a physical something that they can eliminate to cure cancer. But the reason they haven't is because cancer, for the most part, is the disease of subtle energy because we're not being authentic to ourselves. That's a generalization, but oh my gosh, when you're faking it and you work in the corporate world, which we understand that a lot of times where you work, assuming a role is a form of self-protection. And we can see that there's a value to that.
It's true.
It's unfortunate, but it's true. But we just want to acknowledge that part.
Yes.
But it's science. Science doesn't see it and doesn't want to see it, and has already discounted it. Scientific people discount energy work for the most part.
Exactly. Well, Jason, science, I know this. Science is blind to the natural person.
Yes.
And by the way, everyone, that is actually huge because we let the science of medicine treat us, but they're not treating us. They're treating what they think is everything they know about a disease.
They look at the human body like a robot, like a machine. We're saying we're not machines, and they're saying, well, that's our frame to look at.
And that's all we have, and so there it is.
At health in the human body, yes.
Yeah, exactly.
So science doesn't know what is natural or organic because that information is stored in your essence or your soul.
Yes.
The way humans access essence is via intuition, which is not precise, consistent, or measurable.
Correct.
That makes scientists crazy. Subtle energy is like the Wild West. There's no rules, there's no principles, it can't be measured, it doesn't conform to structure.
Right.
Even through quantum physics, it's proving there's no real consistency in principles like we've always thought. Science still hasn't adapted. The view of the atom that you saw in high school chemistry, and the periodic table, that's all
changed now.
Yeah, and they haven't adapted at all, and certainly not with the medical science.
Isn't that amazing? To me, that just blows me away. So, Jason, what is the summary of this segment?
There is scientific proof that fake it till you make it can make changes, but does that mean you should do it? No. Faking it does not change the energy, and the results can not be authentic for the person.
Right.
This leads to negative consequences like disease and relationship problems. Good actors today can succeed in business, but it often affects their health, relationships, well-being, and just being happy within themselves.
Exactly.
When you're faking it, it's hard to feel authentic happiness and joy.
Exactly.
So, and before we go to the outro, I just wanted to make an announcement. We're going to every other week for our show. Instead of doing it every week on Monday, we're going to do every other week. And I know for the time being, they're going to post that other Monday as a rerun of this show. But I just want to let you guys know that we're doing it so we can try and make each show a little higher quality
and much better quality.
Yes. But if you want your ecosystem approach fix, go to our YouTube channel, the Ecosystem Approach with Jason and Patricia Rohn, and that will have all sorts of new content, a lot of short little snips that you don't have here, and it could be really, really helpful. The Ecosystem Approach with Jason and Patricia Rohn.
Okay. In the next segment, we're going to talk about how your ego can play a major role when you decide to fake it till you make it and lead you down the wrong path. This is the Ecosystem Approach Show with Jason and Patricia, and you're listening to Transformation Talk Radio. This is the Ecosystem Approach Show with Jason, and I'm Patricia. And in this segment, we're going to talk about how your ego can play a major role when you decide to fake it till you make it and lead you down the wrong path. Jason, you wrote down here types of ego. What does that mean?
You know, we see the different types of ego or how the ego is expressed in your world. Okay.
That's okay.
The ego is an intangible, so we see it as an energy. It's easy for us to perceive.
Yes.
In a person with a healthy essence, very few people have a truly healthy essence.
Yes.
The ego is designed to support their authentic purpose of that person and so they can achieve their purpose in life. So the ego really, the way it was designed, can be very positive. So if your purpose in life is to be a healer,
Yes. Oh, yeah. Good
your
one.
ego will help you to heal wherever you go. It'll be
Yes.
part of who you are.
Yes.
When you have these, we think about ego as big megalomaniacs and people that are power hungry and greedy.
Yeah.
And that's because it's not connected to a healthy essence.
Well, and it's not truly an authentic ego.
Exactly.
It's a lie.
Because when the ego is not connected to essence, it's kind of a free agent, and it looks around the world and see what's popular, what will give them the most attention,
Right.
what will make them look the best.
Yeah.
You know, all of which may not be in your highest and best interest.
Or even the other people around you.
So if we had leaders who have healthy essences, souls, the world would be so much better, and the whole world would be a better place as a result.
I will agree.
You know, but in our world today, it's disconnected from your essence.
Yeah.
And
by the way, that was done with training.
Yes, training people to be what? Robots and machines.
Exactly, not who they authentically are.
So the popular trends, expectations, and other people's rules, and even family trainings. Oh, I have to be a doctor because my parents wanted me to be.
Yeah.
That, you know.
Well, you were supposed to be an accountant?
I was supposed to be an accountant. Oh my gosh. The world, help the world if that ever happened. So that can be, all of those things can be very toxic to an individual. And a lot of people have a problem moving past that.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the way you were programmed to be, some people just get stuck there and say, I can't be this over here because my parents wanted me to be this over here.
Exactly. And so even outwardly, you're thinking it creates a guilt complex. Oh my gosh, I'm not doing what I was meant to do.
They think their life is about shame when the truth is because they're still living this program that doesn't serve them. That's not part of who they are authentically. Many people's ego would like to be rich and famous, or maybe just rich, but are those desires really authentic? Many people come to us wanting to be something they are not, and not authentic to who they are, and it never works out, and their motives always come from a bad part of ego.
Correct.
I have to be this. I remember we had a client once who wanted to be like Richard Branson.
Yes, and Richard Branson was
Virgin Airline and all the Virgin companies,
and so forth.
And he's this dynamic guy. He's a crazy. I believe was a bachelor, and he does all these things. You know, he's an adventurer. He
was a go-getter, is what he was. Yeah.
But I know this guy came from a family whose father was very successful.
Yes,
and he wanted to one up his dad, which came from the bad part of ego. It wasn't who he was. It was never going to happen.
Right.
And it was a really bad part of his life.
Yes.
So,
that's a great example.
It is a great example. And I'm sorry for so many of us, we've been programmed to be something we're not. And we can't ever in our life let go of that.
Yes, it's very well. You can if you use the ecosystem approach. So yes. By the way, I was only supposed to be the maid, and don't get me wrong. I'm actually a very great caretaker, but I have so many other talents that, not to mention this amazing intuition that has really just blossomed since I started using the ecosystem approach. So, let's get on to the next part of this. Most people act in the wrong way. Why is that, Jason?
When ego from the unhealthy place
Mm-hmm.
drives the choices about how to act, it can easily go wrong. Choosing the wrong way to act that is not in alignment with the authentic self can have bad consequences. These consequences are already discussed, like health,
Sure.
relationship problems,
Yeah.
lacking well-being. Being an actor or phony is not the path to true well-being and happiness.
Correct.
There may be temporary gains in the business world because the world doesn't care if you're authentic, and frankly, it can't tell.
Yeah.
In commerce and business, they
For the
don't.
most part,
Yeah.
yes.
But we acknowledge that in certain business situations, it can serve you to play that role, and act a
Absolutely.
certain way. However, most people get stuck and they can't turn it off.
Right.
Most people can't tell the difference. Most people say, okay, I'm going to be this role at work, but then they go home and they try to act it out. It's really
And they
bad.
do act that out, and it creates a lot of havoc in a lot of relationships.
When I was in the military, it was legendary because guys would come home. They would have rank. Um, they would lead, lead a platoon, a company, or whatever.
Sure.
They would be a leader,
Sure.
and they'd be giving orders all day. They'd come home and they'd try to duplicate that role
Yes.
in their families,
Yes.
and it never worked.
Yeah.
And the Army at the time was legendary for um, family abuse, family problems.
Yes.
Um, um, People couldn't deal with each other
Mhm.
because it's not a way to have true intimacy and love
Right.
with your partner, to come home and say, I'm in charge here, and everybody needs to hear my orders and follow them, blah, blah, blah. It doesn't work.
Well, and there's something really off when you have to say yes, sir, to your father, or yes, ma'am, to your mother.
Yeah.
Things like that. What about mom, dad? I mean, that doesn't exist when you're talking about the relationship type.
And there's nothing wrong with having kids respect their parents.
No, not at all.
And we believe in training them to do that.
Truly.
That's a framework
respect, manners, and be aware of everyone around them.
Especially if they're worthy of that respect.
Yes.
A lot of times they're trained to have that respect, but the parents aren't worthy of it.
That's true.
So that's where the problem kind of breaks down.
Yes.
But we see so many people get stuck in their roles that they play, and frankly, we also see this is very common. You get stuck in a role like that for years and years and years, and then all of a sudden you have dementia or Alzheimer's.
Right.
We have people,
and you don't understand why.
Don't understand why. It's not that surprising from our perspective.
Not at all. At all. So the true source of human potential, Jason, is what?
This makes me so excited. We've always heard that we have so much more potential than we use.
Right.
Authenticity, being in alignment with your essence, is the way, is the path to your human potential. We are taught in the world to be phony and to play a role that is false.
Yeah.
That's why we have forgotten the power of our essence to connect with infinite human potential.
Yeah.
That's where it is. We're looking over here when the truth is that human potential is over here. And this is especially critical with AI. Artificial intelligence.
Yeah.
I'm amazed by all the AI tools that there are, and I'm just starting to use some of them.
They're amazing.
They are amazing.
But
AI can remember facts and data and
correct.
process information
Right.
in ways that human beings maybe just can't.
Right.
But what AI can never do that human beings can is to go to our essence, expand our human potential, and have access to information and wisdom. People don't know what that is in this day and age.
No, they
but
don't.
true wisdom, and use that and apply it in the world.
Yes.
That is what happens when you start to remove the negative energy.
Yes.
But if you try all your life to be like a machine, you're never going to keep up with AI. AI is going to beat your butt. It's gonna make you into the B squad.
Exactly, or C or D.
Yes.
Yes, that's very, very, very true.
So we're excited about this idea. And if you want more, the ecosystem approach is the way. Go to our website right now, the ecosystemapproach.org. Sign up for our free section. You'll get a weekly or now every other week newsletter.
Correct.
And you'll be connected to us and information that as we put forth. Also, go to our YouTube channel, The Ecosystem Approach with Jason and Patricia Rohn, and we'll have lots of little bits and pieces of information there that you won't have here. That'll be very, very exciting. So be sure you go to our channel and subscribe and like the show.
Exactly. So, Jason, what is the summary of this segment?
When ego is disconnected from one's true self, it leads to unhealthy choices and consequences like disease and relationship difficulties. We are taught to be phony and to role play from childhood with little attempt to uncover who we are authentically or our purpose.
Yes.
The path to infinite human potential is through an understanding of who we are authentically and uncovering our purpose. Faking it till you make it does not lead to positive outcomes for the individual. Apply the ecosystem approach instead and start today.
And by the way, start today and ask a friend to join you.
Yes.
Ask your partners to join you.
We think it's really valuable to have a clearing buddy to work with the energy with other people.
We know that this works.
Yes.
In the next segment, we're going to do some clearing so you can work with training or programming that you have that says you have to be someone you're not, and how that has affected you. Oh, this is so big. This is the Ecosystem Approach Show with Jason and Patricia, and you're listening to Transformation Talk Radio. This is the Ecosystem Approach Show with Jason, and I'm Patricia. And in this segment, we're going to do some clearing to help you remove some of the training and the programming that you have that says you have to be someone that you're not, and how that has affected you. So, Jason, we need to tell everyone how to do the clearing.
It's very simple. You don't have to have a specific posture. You don't have to be in the lotus position, any of that. You can stand, sit, you can be walking, you can be laying down, any way you can. And we do this all the time. We do it in the shower.
Yeah.
We take the dogs for a walk in the morning. We do clearing. We do it all the time. So
yes.
We do it when we're doing yard work.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And
one of my favorite is on the lawn tractor, because I'm going to get out there and do that soon. Now it's getting warmer.
Yes, exactly. So,
when we say to eliminate, that's the verb, and there's a whole statement that you have. And by the way, if you want the statement, have it all written out, and the clearings for today all written out.
Yes.
Go to our website, theecosystemapproach.org, and sign up for our free section.
Yes.
It's every newsletter, we have it all written out. Picture of the processor is up. That's going to put a picture of the processor up now. But if you want a picture of that, it's on the newsletter.
Yes.
And it's a way to keep in contact with us as you want to go to this next stage of evolution for yourself, to say, I want more.
Yes.
Yeah. What I've learned may not have been exactly right. I want to do more. So that's the way to do it. So we say the words, and then in your mind's eye, in your imagination, gather up that what we say, whether it's veils and illusions, barriers, specific emotions,
and throw it away.
Throw it into that, blow it into that processor.
Yes.
It goes into the top of the processor. It gets processed, and that processor doesn't exist in the physical, exists in the non-physical dimension. So you can move it around. It responds to your imagination. So you can make it bigger, smaller, whatever.
Correct.
And it processes it so it comes out neutral.
Yeah. So let's get started.
Yes.
Everyone, follow along. Jason, go ahead. Get started.
I direct all my resources in all dimensions to eliminate the veils and illusions, so I can see that all the training I have that keeps me from seeing who I am authentically. Maybe it's, take a breath. Maybe your parents wanted you to be something like this, or maybe your parents wanted you to marry someone like this, and now
Yeah.
all of a sudden you're saying that's not the person for me,
Yes,
that sort of
exactly.
thing. Maybe
Exactly.
it's been about having a certain career. Maybe it's about just acting a certain way in the world.
Right. Maybe you even have that career
Yes,
and you've discovered it's not the career for you.
exactly.
So nice and easy. Pick up all of those questions, pick them up and put them in the processor so you can have the clarity that you need and want. One more time, take a breath and blow it out.
A lot of times you can just take a situation and make it into a clearing statement.
That's exactly right.
And for example, um, and to eliminate
Okay.
feeling stuck with the rules and the training and the programming of my parents, of my family,
Yeah.
to be a doctor when I don't really want to be a doctor,
Right.
or a lawyer or an accountant.
Right.
Just
Right. Right.
just say the words. It's make it specific to you.
And
The
pick
more
it up.
and blow it into the processor.
Blow it into the processor. Next one. And I'm going to shorten it up just a little bit and to eliminate the barriers. So whenever I have an issue or a challenge, I can remove the negative energy that is blocking me. That's kind of what you were
Yeah.
just talking about. Not try and act like I've overcome the problem. In other words, deal with it straight on.
Deal with the energy straight on. Yes.
Don't push it aside because it'll bite you sooner or later. Take a breath and blow it out. Jason?
And to eliminate the veils and illusions so I can see that my feelings represent the energy that is attached to me, so I can clear the negative ones that hurt me and keep me from going forward.
Yes.
It's so simple, and it's kind of obvious that our feelings are kind of like a gauge about negative energies that are attached to us. And if we have all these negative feelings, that means we have a lot of negative energy attached to us.
Correct.
And we have to just get rid of it.
Exactly. So pick it up and throw it away. And to eliminate the veils and illusions so I can see that the ecosystem approach was designed to be radical transformation for psychology, self-help, and human development with a new way to deal with my feelings. Take a breath and blow it out.
And
Jason?
to eliminate the feeling that when ego comes from negative energy attached to a person, it looks to the world that is what is popular and uses other people's rules. But when it comes from a healthy essence, it supports what is in that person's highest and best interest. Oh my gosh.
Take a breath, everybody.
Take those veils and illusions and throw
them
them
away. Now we're going to activate life force, and we're going to activate life force. So, a life force is the most powerful energy we have. And when we use it, after we do clearing, we activate life force so that negative energy doesn't go back into the places that are stored in our body with negative energy. When we clear it and then we activate that life force, it makes a difference. Follow along. I direct all my resources in all dimensions to activate life force so I can use life force starting right now to be authentic to myself and have access to my unlimited human potential. That is a huge statement. We're going to pull in that life force through the top of your head, let it go all the way down to the tips of your toes. You're going to stop it right there. You're going to ask it to turn around, and then you're going to take a breath and pull all that negative energy up that's been left over and throw it away. Jason?
So, if today you have some sort of physical sensation, buzz, if something,
if it just feels right,
if something inside of you says, "Oh my gosh,
yes,
this is why I've paid all that money to all those self-help programs. I've been in therapy for 5 years and it hasn't felt like I'm doing anything."
Correct.
Or any other sort of development program.
Right.
And you say, "I want this. This could be it. This is what I want."
Right.
This is what you do. It's really very simple. Go to our website right now, theecosystemapproach.org. Sign up for our free section. We're all over the place. We're on Facebook, but the most important place to go is to our YouTube channel, the Ecosystem Approach with Jason and Patricia Rohn.
Yes.
Go there, subscribe. There's a lot of content there that is amazing. And oh, by the way, one of the things that we just started doing is what's called Coffee with Patricia. And it's about 1 to 3 minutes of just clearing. So you could use it every single day and find a topic that speaks to you. And there's a whole bunch of topics, and we're going to continue to do more and more of these.
More and more.
And just find a Coffee with Patricia topic that you want, and just do it over and over again. You can't do it too many times.
That is correct.
The more you clear, and then see how you feel.
Yes.
Clear some, and then see how you feel. Clear some, and see how you feel.
Exactly.
And I realize that some people have their shame that's deeply embedded. And frankly, even for us after 25 years, there's still shame coming up, which does not mean that it doesn't work. What it means is that there was a lot of shame that came from trying to be who we are that isn't authentic to us all of our life.
Exactly.
You know, it's a big deal.
And by the way, that's an easy way to get rid of it. And the things that you see after you take care of this shame and a few other things, even if it keeps coming up, keep clearing it, because it's layer after layer after layer after layer.
So remember, we're going to go to every 2 weeks for our shows.
Yes.
So we have more time to prepare our shows. So the next show will be on March 10th. And so the outro today would be, let me do it, okay?
That sounds good.
We'll connect Monday every other week. And the next one would be
March 10th.
March 10th at 1 p.m. Pacific time and 4 p.m. Eastern time.
So, and I want to say thank you to Transformation Talk Radio for all of their support of what we do and helping us get to connect with all of you. So you are listening to the Ecosystem Approach Show with Jason and Patricia.
Living like an ecosystem is the key to a better life for you.
Thank you for listening to the Ecosystem Approach Show with Jason and Patricia. I'm Patricia. Tune in every week as we discuss practical ways to apply the ecosystem approach and develop your potential to live your life on your terms. For more information, visit our website at theecosystemapproach.org.